Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Star Trek. Khan reveals a surprising twist between Captain James T. Kirk's and Khan Noonien Singh after Star Trek. The original series. Star Trek history records Khan as a genetically augmented tyrant, a villain, and Captain Kirk's greatest enemy. Indeed, in Star Trek, the original series' Space Seed, Khan attempted to hijack the USS Enterprise and kill Kirk. 20 years later, Khan returned to exact vengeance on Kirk in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. In Star Trek, Khan, which takes place in 2293, 8 years after Khan's death, a Starfleet researcher named Dr. Rosalind Lear acquires Khan's personal logs left behind on Ceti Alpha V. What Lear discovers changes what audiences thought they knew about Kirk and Khan after their conflict in Star Trek. The original series Season 1. Star Trek. Khan's flashbacks to Ceti Alpha V begin not long after Khan Noonien Singh and 70 of his followers are left on Ceti Alpha V by Captain Kirk and the Starship Enterprise in 2267. Star Trek. Khan reveals that Captain Kirk offered Khan and his people more assistance than Star Trek, the original series, indicated. Captain Kirk gave Khan a medlab from the Starship Enterprise to handle the augment's medical needs. Khan also received a year's supply of Starfleet food rations, although Khan and his people immediately set out to harvest the resources of Ceti Alpha V for their sustenance. Captain Kirk's generosity and compassion towards Khan shows that despite his enemies' nefarious attempt to kill him and steal his starship, Kirk rendered more support towards the augments than previously known. In turn, Khan has a surprisingly high opinion of Kirk after the captain releases him onto Ceti Alpha V, telling his followers, "Kirk did us a favor." This is a sharp contrast to his seething hatred of Admiral Kirk in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. At the end of Star Trek, the original series' Space Seed, Lieutenant Marla McGiver's Madeline Rue joins Khan and his followers on Ceti Alpha V. It always seemed that Marla joined Khan because she was in love with him. Star Trek. Khan adds new complexities to McGiver's relationship with Khan. Star Trek. Khan reveals that Marla McGiver's Ren Schmidt went to Ceti Alpha V partly out of her sense of duty as a historian to record Khan building a new civilization. Marla also had second thoughts soon after landing on Ceti Alpha V, and she tried to contact the Starship Enterprise, which incensed Khan. Further, McGivers learned that augment women were created to be infertile, and Kirk's medlab was partly an effort for Khan's followers to solve this problem. Marla quickly began to fear that Khan brought her to Ceti Alpha V as Plan B if the augment's fertility problem couldn't be solved. The world of Star Trek has always thrived on the balance between friendship and rivalry, between diplomacy and war, between exploration and survival. But sometimes the most gripping stories are not about discovering new planets or negotiating peace treaties. They are about personal reckonings. And in a stunning new development that will send shockwaves through fandom, Star Trek has revealed a shocking twist. Captain James T. Kirk shares an unexpected bond with his greatest enemy. For decades, Kirk's rogues gallery has been filled with villains who tested him on moral, intellectual, and emotional levels, the likes of the Klingon Commander Corps, the Romulan Commander, Khan Noonien Singh, and countless others who challenged his ideals. But this new revelation digs deeper than a battle of wits or strength. It unearths a secret history, one that makes Kirk's fight with his greatest enemy much more personal than anyone ever imagined. Among all of Kirk's rivals, Khan Noonien Singh has always loomed largest. Introduced in Space Seed and immortalized in The Wrath of Khan, Khan was the perfect foil. Genetically engineered brilliance and strength pitted against Kirk's quick thinking, humanity, and instinct. Their rivalry transcended mere opposition. It was Shakespearean in scope, filled with themes of revenge, obsession, and destiny. But in the newest twist, Star Trek canon is re-examining this relationship, suggesting that Kirk and Khan may not have been strangers brought together by chance. Instead, their fates may have been intertwined long before the Enterprise discovered the SS Botany Bay. The revelation? Genealogical records uncovered within Section 31's classified archives suggest that Kirk and Khan share a distant familial link, a connection buried under centuries of human history, forgotten during the turmoil of the eugenics wars. According to the story, the revelation emerges during a routine mission in which Captain Kirk and the Enterprise are dispatched to investigate mysterious anomalies in Federation space. What seems like a standard patrol suddenly veers into intrigue when Spock intercepts encrypted data fragments left behind in a derelict Starfleet outpost once used by Section 31. The files are fragmented, but Uhura manages to decode them, revealing chilling details. DNA markers hidden in the Starfleet genetic census, matching James T. Kirk with none other than Khan Noonien Singh's extended line. It turns out that, generations ago, members of Khan's dynasty had their DNA distributed into various populations as part of a desperate attempt to avoid extermination after the eugenics wars. The Federation buried the evidence to protect society from chaos. After all, how could humanity move forward if people still feared that tyrants like Khan might rise again? But now, with the truth resurfacing, Kirk is forced to grapple with an impossible truth. The very man who became his greatest adversary might also be, in some way, his blood relative. The impact on the Enterprise crew is seismic. Spock, ever logical, insists that familial ties do not determine one's destiny, noting that Kirk's choices have always defined him more than any heritage. Still, even Spock acknowledges the irony of Kirk's lifelong battle against Khan, now reframed as something almost fated. McCoy, true to form, reacts with fiery disbelief. Jim, do you have any idea what this means? We've been running around the galaxy while your distant cousin nearly destroyed it. Great God Almighty, what a mess. His words sting, but they also the emotional weight of the discovery. Chekhov and Sulu whisper among themselves, stunned by the implications. And Uhura, with her usual empathy, reassures Kirk that bloodlines don't define the man she has served under with respect and admiration. But Kirk himself is shaken. His rivalry with Khan was always personal. Khan had killed people under his command, nearly destroyed the Enterprise, and left scars that never truly healed. To learn that, deep in his lineage, he shares something with this monster is enough to unmoor even the most confident captain. Khan's shadow in Kirk's heart. The revelation forces Kirk to revisit every decision he made against Khan. Was their rivalry purely circumstantial, or was there something deeper driving Khan's obsession with him? Did Khan somehow recognize something familiar in Kirk, a spark of ambition, charisma, or legacy that reminded him of himself? Star Trek's writers craft the revelation not as a rewriting of history, but as an exploration of destiny. In mythology and literature, heroes often discover that their greatest enemies are mirrors of themselves, shadows born from the same fire. This new twist literalizes that metaphor, making Kirk's greatest struggle one against a distorted reflection of his own legacy. Reframing the wrath of Khan. The twist adds an entirely new layer to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. That film, long revered as the pinnacle of Star Trek storytelling, becomes even more tragic when seen through this lens. Kirk's confrontation with Khan is no longer just a battle between captain and adversary. It becomes a familial reckoning, a clash between two branches of the same fractured tree of humanity. Khan's famous line, "From hell's heart, I stab at thee," gains even greater depth. It is no longer just the fury of a man consumed by vengeance. It becomes the cry of a man raging against his own bloodline, against the kin who represents everything he believes he was denied. And when Kirk screams, "Khan!" into the void, it is no longer just the cry of a man facing an enemy, but of a man unknowingly raging against the shadow of his own ancestry. The Federation's dilemma. Beyond Kirk's personal turmoil, the revelation carries enormous implications for the Federation. If the public learned that one of Starfleet's most celebrated captains had genetic ties to the most infamous tyrant in Earth's history, what would it mean? Would it shake faith in Starfleet's ideals? Would Kirk's legacy be tainted forever? The Federation Council debates, sealing the truth once again. burying it to protect stability. But Kirk, embodying his human spirit of honesty and courage, insists that truth, no matter how uncomfortable, must be faced. Humanity cannot grow if it hides from its past. This decision becomes one of Kirk's greatest tests as a leader, as he confronts not just Klingons or Romulans, but the ghosts of his own DNA. A legacy of choice. Ultimately, Star Trek uses this twist not to diminish Kirk, but to elevate him. By showing that he shares blood with his greatest enemy, the narrative emphasizes that what makes Kirk a hero is not where he comes from, but what he chooses to be. Khan chose domination, obsession, and revenge. Kirk chose exploration, compassion, and resilience. The two men may share a hidden bond, but their lives demonstrate the core Star Trek truth. Our destinies are not written in our genes, but in our actions. Conclusion. A twist for the ages. Star Trek has always been about asking difficult questions. Who are we? What defines us? Where are we going? This shocking revelation about Captain Kirk and Khan takes those questions and makes them deeply personal. It reframes one of the greatest rivalries in science fiction history as not just a battle between enemies, but as a struggle within the same family tree, a mythic clash of ideals born from the same root. And as the final captain's log for this arc declares, we are not bound by the blood of our past, but by the choices we make in the stars. Kirk versus Khan was never just about vengeance. It was about proving, once and for all, that humanity's future lies not in its genetic inheritance, but in its courage to choose a better path. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.